Hi, my name's Cale. You can find me at phillyguitarlessons.com or at Facebook and Google Plus and all that stuff. Today I want to talk to you about why you can't solo. Okay? I have a lot of guitarists come to me with this problem, want to learn how to either improvise or solo. Slight difference there. Improvising is coming up with a solo on the spot. Soloing, you can write it out beforehand. Now, if you're in this spot, I'm going to take some guesses about you as a guitarist. You've been playing for a bit. Okay? You're comfortable with chords. Maybe you've even learned to play a few solos, but yet you don't feel comfortable. You've got a really simple idea in your head, but you have no idea how to play it out on the guitar. And let me tell you a bit about how you developed as a guitarist. I'm taking some guesses here, going out on a limb. You learned some chords. You learned some strumming patterns. You said to yourself, this is great. You felt really good because you could play Kumbaya around a campfire. You learned some other songs that you liked. You learned some more songs that you liked, more strumming patterns, more chords, more songs. Eventually you got to the point where you played so many songs that you could hear something on the radio and take a pretty good stab at what it would be on a guitar, and maybe you figured it out right quick and wasn't even hard for you. Alright, and then you were saying to yourself, I'm pretty good at guitar. I can figure out songs by ear. Let me play some solos. So you went and got your favorite solo. Maybe it was an intro to a song, something kind of simple, but you did it. It was, relatively high up on the neck, and you were feeling great because you're up here. Maybe you did a couple of those, and you were like, oh, this is really great. I can play some solos. I can play some songs. And you went along that path for a while, and then you just plateaued. Never got any better at playing solos. Never were able to figure out what's going on in your ear. Even if you're writing, I know guys who are like singer-songwriter types writing their own songs with chords, but can't figure out solos on their own, or just little riffs that they have in their head. Now, let me tell you what's going on here as you were learning all those chords. You were getting used to the relationship between those notes, the way those changes sounded, all right? To the point that you could hear them in your head. You were able to figure songs out by ear. Pretty straightforward, right? You know how it sounds in your head. It's pretty easy to transfer to the guitar. Now, what you did was you went and you learned some fast, well, maybe not fast right away, but some solos that were pretty cool and way up here on the neck and whatnot. And you're like, ah, blah, 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 right? But the problem is that the complexity of those solos, right, is far, far higher than the complexity of a little chord change. Even most very basic guitar solos are, a lot trickier than your basic chord changes in terms of musical complexity. One's harmonic complexity, one's melodic complexity. Right? And so it was a lot harder for you to absorb the complexity of that into your ear and get used to what that sounds like, all right? So that you could transfer it into your own ideas. Here's my remedy for you. All right? And it's only a partial remedy. If you want to learn how to improvise in solo, you're going to need to get a lot of other skills, right? But here's what you need to do. You need to go find some solos that are actually what people would sing. The reason why you want something that people sing is that it won't be insanely fast, because that's a limitation of the human voice, all right? Quite likely, the ideas in your head aren't insanely fast either, because you can't think as fast as you can play, all right? So finding some stuff that people can sing is great, because it will help you just translate what you hear in your head onto the guitar, because it's more similar to what you hear in your head. All right, the next thing that's great about voice things is it's not going to cover 3.5 octaves. Most people's voices can't. And so a lot of times it will only cover maybe an octave, octave and a half. This is great because then you're going to be focusing a lot more on the melodic content than how cool it is that you're going up and down the neck. That going up and down the neck just makes it a lot harder to follow. And last but not least, it's just, throughout human history. I went to school for classical guitar, and every classical musician learned that what you're trying to imitate is the human voice. It was the original instrument, and it's what we're used to hearing and what sounds, most natural. So if you can imitate the human voice in your playing, your solos are going to sound very comfortable. So I'd recommend, if you're just starting off with this kind of thing, go find some bluegrass melodies. They're nice, they're fun, they're rhythmically relatively simple, all right? And just get comfortable with some of those, and then get into more complex stuff, maybe find some jazz melodies or something like that. A lot of rock melodies aren't very complex. You know, there's some Green Day melodies where the entire verse is just 2 or 3 different notes with different rhythms. We want something that has a little bit more melodic variety than that, because a solo that was 2 or 3 notes might work, but I'm sure that's not what your goals are. Okay, cool. So that's the summary there. You can check out more info at my website, phillyguitarlessons.com. All right, and you can find some melodies there that you can play to get new ideas and hopefully incorporate that same skill you already have of hearing chord changes in your head to hearing melodies in your head. All right, and then transferring it to the guitar. Thanks, and I hope you find that info useful.